the minutes show that this is the Carroll County Fiscal Court agenda, our regular scheduled meeting for May 13th, 2025. At this time, we stand to pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, Lord, just again so thankful, Lord, for this freedoms that we have to meet as we do in this country, Lord. Just hope and pray that we never take those freedoms for granted, Lord. We're so thankful for all the men and women that fought so hard to grant us those freedoms, Lord. We just pray that you grant us wisdom over the course of our conversations, Lord, that it will be for the betterment of our community and all those folks that live here and call this home. Be with our men and women that are taking care of us here at home and EMS and fire service and law enforcement, Lord, and out there doing their jobs, Lord. And just pray for us, guidance, and direct us. And these things we ask in the name of Jesus Christ.
Need a motion to approve minutes for April 22nd, 2025.
So moved.
Motion by Benji, second by Clay. Scott, all in favor, say aye. Budget transfers, need a motion, please.
We did not have it in our box.
I'll print it last one, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, she has to be with her when I went and popped my head in there.
We move on to invoice approval.
And I'll make the motion.
The motion by Scott, second by Clay, all in favor, say aye. Copy of financial report in there for you. Okay. We got, next on the agenda is Scott Graham from Phil Bryan Insurance Company about health insurance renewal. This time, if you'd like to take the floor and explain some things to us that everybody else has been looking at, so.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody. Yeah, we did get the increase on health insurance this year, which was 10.6% increase. Claims were up significantly over the past year, and they were higher than the premium, which was the reason for the increase of 10.6. We did look at several other options, one of which was bringing the increase down to 8%, but making some changes to the plan designs, and then another one that would actually decrease the cost by half a point. So those options there are before you. I'm happy to answer questions, or if you want me to go through in more detail, I'll be glad to. And then the dental insurance renewal was no increase, but we did get some other bids due to some network issues. So there is a bid for a different carrier that would have improved out-of-network coverage that would actually decrease the rate. So that's options in there as well.
Okay. Any discussion or anything you need?
Yeah, I guess just so everybody's kind of aware, I guess where we're going with on this is to Scott's point here. You know, we looked at, currently we have the traditional plan and we have the HR plan, which the majority of people are on the traditional plan. I know there's been some frustrations with the HRA plan and so forth and what. So one of the, the options was to look at just abandoning that and just going to the traditional plan. And I think even with that one, it goes up like a 12% increase overall,
yeah.
simply.
Yeah.
So that's significant. And to me, these are always important decisions. We're trying to balance between taking care of the employees, but also responsibility to the taxpayers. Because we've got $2 million a year just in employee health insurance. So 10%, it's not just a few coins in the sofa. This is big time money we're talking about. So one of the things that we had talked about, and this had multiple people ask this, and I guess what was an option such that employees, say you're single guy, single lady that's young, healthy, doesn't expect to have a lot of issues, they would rather have a little more take-home pay and stuff. So Scott worked up some plans here that would accommodate that, such that individual would have a little more take-home pay. But basically what that translates to then is this buy-up plan essentially where the rest of the employees have to start paying a little bit for the premiums. I mean, basically what it is, right? So that is a dramatic change. So I'm curious, you know, we all set different times with Scott and we went through all of this, you know, kind of where we're at on that, because that's going to be a change. And that particular model got us down to the 8% increase versus 12%. I guess the one concern, and your approach that you did was spot on. I think I have no fault with it at all. But the one concern I had, I guess, in terms of the employee, and this is a guy making, you know, guy or gal making $20 an hour. If you have a family, your employee cost was going to be $140 a month increase. So when you look at that as far as your take-home pay, that's essentially a 4% take-home pay. So if you're going to get a raise of 5%, that's what the budget is, you're going to lose most of that to health insurance premium, which doesn't seem quite right. So I guess in that particular line, I would, you know, looking at maybe half that, you know, we got to ease into this a little bit. So that's kind of what I was proposing, maybe, you know, 2%. The 5% that COLA was actually, cost of living adjustment was actually around 3%. So that still gives you a net increase of 2% or so, 2.5% on your take. So I don't know, Scott, how hard it is to go back and plug numbers in here to look, you know, to target. I think it came, instead of $140, it'd be something more like, you know, a $75 hit to the employee. You know, and when you look at these two particular plans, it seems like the only people that would be taking advantage of the core plan would probably be your young, healthy person, right? I mean, because any of the other ones, if you've got a couple of kids, you're going to go to the core because you save a little bit, but then you're going to get hit with out-of-pocket expenses and so forth. So I guess that would be my only thought on that, would be to maybe reduce those a little bit to, you know, something that's a little more palatable for the employees. But that's my only thought on that.
That plan, we're all picking up the spouses.
Well, that's another comment play, so it is you.
You know, I don't want to leave the spouses out all the time, because I think we don't pay our employees that much anyway, and I think we would end up losing some people maybe over it, or not being able to hire people. And a lot of them have retained working with the county for that reason only, because of the health insurance that's been paid all these years. So I think, in my opinion, I want the spouses put back in and leave it as it stays today, because that wasn't going to take effect until July 1. So I'd like to see the spouses and families back in the way they were in the past.
I do too.
And that'd be a policy, so we'd have to make, the county would actually have to make a policy change on that on our
Ordinance change.
Which is what is different.
So do we know how many people, Kaylee, I was looking to you kind of as the insurance expert for the county, so do we know how many people that would actually be then? I mean, is it 6, is it 15, 20?
That the spouses coming off would
Yeah.
affect, probably more than 12. I mean,
So
several.
So about that.
Yeah, majority of the people that cover their spouses,
Most of them do.
yeah, would lose their spouses.
Yeah, I'm willing to make, I know that's going to be
Okay.
a good bit, but I'm going to make that concession.
No, you want to ask a question about the, or?
I talked to Scott about it as far as the withholding from the employees, if we require our employees to pay a portion. And he said we have a 30-day grace period to pay our bill. Because right now the premium is due the first of the month. So I would have to withhold a month ahead of time for these employees in order to pay the bill. Which right now our bill comes in the middle of the month. So
we have a grace period.
30 days, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do the end of that, but it's a couple of days behind us.
because I mean, sometimes like this month, our last payday is going to be on the 30th of the month, and the bill will be due June 1st. But then that also leaves a decision that you all will have to make as far as if an employee terminates in the middle of the month, do you all want to refund them their premium or that they've paid, or cover them till the end of the month? Because right now,
We'll have to do that in the next 2 days to make sure we get that lined out, so
Yeah.
I'm sure not in a problem, and we're not in a problem with paying our bills either, so.
What about so as we way through the HRA plans, how's that going to affect,
That's not involved.
yeah, but we're,
There's an impact.
You mean if you ended?
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so those folks would get, any deductibles that they met or out of pocket, they met on that plan would transfer over to one of the other plans that they went to. They still have that 90-day run-out period to submit claims, that were incurred prior to the end of before June 30th. So that they still have that 3-month window to turn those in and get paid.
So they're not gonna lose.
Correct.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion to go along with that.
Well, I guess my motion would be, this would be alternative number 2. With, I guess, based on my thoughts, reduction of the employee contribution for the buy-up plan. The way I did it, Scott, was I did $75 for the family, and then I just weighted the employed plus child and employed plus spouse based on the cost of those individual plans relative to the base. So it'd be like $50 for the employed plus spouse and $42 for the employee. But anyway, in that ballpark. So with that, and we would also include in that employee spouses that are offered in insurance at their current employers can also be part of the county.
Okay.
Is that your motion?
Yep.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
What did you say the cost would be for that plan?
What's that?
Did you say how much for employee only?
Yeah, it would be, are you gonna take off as soon as you're done here, or done with this part?
I was planning, but I can stick around.
Okay, 'cause I can show you what I got.
Okay.
Yeah, and take my logic.
No problem.
Yeah. But it's, like I said, it's a large part.
All right, moving on. Ordinance,
What about the,
Oh, yeah, sorry, it didn't include that, so that's.
oh, then, yeah,
Yeah, we would, that was the recommendation to change that, wouldn't it? Yeah, so including the change to the HRI.
okay.
Sorry about that.
okay, moving on to ordinance authorizing and directing the collection of additional court costs and fees to be second reading, final adoption. Need a motion to make the reading.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by
second.
Clay, Randy, all in favor, say aye.
I'd make a note on the last thing,
Okay.
the additional court fees. Now therefore be it ordained that the Carroll County Fiscal Court as follows: pursuant to KRS 23-18-20-24-8115 and KRS 54.091, following additional court costs and fees are hereby imposed in the Carroll Circuit and District Courts. A fee of $25 should be added to the filing fee in all circuit civil cases. Cost of $25 should be added to court costs imposed on defendants in circuit criminal cases. Fee of $25 should be added to the filing fee in all civil cases appealed from circuit court to the Court of Appeals. Fee of $10 should be added to court costs for each traffic offense, and a fee of $10 should be added to the filing fee in all probate cases. Fee of $20 should be added to court costs imposed in all misdemeanor cases. Fee of $10 should be added to all filing fees in small claims cases. A fee of $10 should be added in all district civil cases. Filing fees, an additional fee of $10 should be charged for each subpoena served, and an additional fee of $10 should be charged for each civil summons served. All additional court costs and fees collected pursuant to this ordinance shall be remitted to the Carroll County Fiscal Court as required by law. Funds shall be maintained in a separate account and expended exclusively for construction, renovation, maintenance, or operation of courthouse facilities, payment of principal and interest on bonds issued for courthouse projects, administrative expenses related to the operation of the Carroll County Circuit District Courts, any other lawful purpose consistent with KRS 23-18-20-24-8185 and 64.091. All ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, including ordinance number 02.0530, are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. The effective date, this ordinance shall be effective upon its passage, approval, and publication as required by law.
Make a motion to adopt that ordinance.
Clay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Next on the constable salary ordinance, the first reading. Motion by Clay, second by Scott. All in favor say aye. Opposed?
Now therefore be it ordained by the Carroll County Fiscal Court that the position of constable of Carroll County, Texas shall receive no compensation effective January 1, 2027.
I'll make a motion to adopt or accept first reading.
I'll second it.
Second by Benji. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Next is the solar farm ordinance, first reading.
So I guess one comment on that real quick before we do that. So Nick, we got an electronic copy. I guess if you guys get that, and so Christian can. So we can do this one or two ways. We can table it because
I would suggest, I'll jump in here, Scott.
Okay.
I would suggest we go ahead and review it. We can review it today. I'm not ready to pass it either.
Okay.
For the simple fact that I have some questions as to who is going to approve plans. As Christian County has a Hopkinsville Planning and Zoning Commission that reviews those plans. Since we don't have P&Zs that fall back to the fiscal court, we empower the code enforcement board to take on that measure. I don't think that's really going to be their bailiwick, so I would not put that on them, but that's the only other real board that this county has. So we're going to have to look at who is going to be responsible for that if the fiscal court takes it on themselves, or if you can take it on yourself.
So you're gonna review that? and get
I'm going to review that, research it a little bit more, but I did, I gave you Christian County's article, mirror that with the exception of who's going to be approving the plans.
Okay.
There was one other component in there too, and again, I had given it to Matthews in Trumbull counties, because one important thing that Trumbull County has is they're all, so not just looking at large scale, they're looking at medium scale too, because they recognize, Christian County is like 5 times bigger than Carroll County, so it's massive, lots of flat land, so they could have, several hundred acres, whereas like Trumbull County is incorporating medium into this as well, because you could have like a 40-acre plot or something like that. So I would just, look for other counties that are similar to our size, that they've probably done some things that, maybe Christian County wouldn't do, so look at that as well. But appreciate that. So appreciate your efforts. I mean, that's all came out of the work session we had recently. So appreciate the fact we're off and running, so.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to table it.
motion by
I'll second
Scott, second by Benji. All in favor say aye.
Motion by Clay. He said Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Left and right mixed up in there. Second by Benji, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Other thing for Nick to read is the agreement Rural Aid Fund, Rural Fund. Nick, read that please, when you pass that.
Well, what you need is a resolution adopting it, Judge, so. I
Should be
can-
7th page.
I can shoot that. Right.
So I'm making a motion.
Hey, Nick.
Resolution.
Nick, is that on the 7th page on
Is
there?
that back there, right?
I believe it's at the
On the
end.
back page,
Okay, thank you, sir.
okay,
Okay. Get the motion in a second.
motion. I
I
forgot.
make a motion. Clay second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Be it resolved that the Carroll County Fiscal Court, that this court is hereby adopt all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being part of the county road system, and the fiscal court is hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract. Is hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated, and the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract to set forth on behalf of the fiscal court of Carroll County, and the county clerk of Carroll County is hereby authorized to direct and directed to certify thereto.
Okay.
Make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Motion by Scott, second by Clay. All in favor say aye. Opposed? No opposed. I guess we're down to judge's comments. A couple things, just an announcement. I need, really, the table that we looked at for the ambulance fee schedule for 2025. We've met on that, everybody discussed it, and want to go with it. So I need everybody's agreed, has looked at this, so I need a motion to proceed with that. Motion by Clay, second by Benji, all in favor, say aye. Yes. I signed a agreement with I signed an agreement with Westside Fire Department. We had a Polaris and some equipment brought back to us from the Commonwealth research team from Owen County that was scheduled as ours. It was a Polaris, and we have a black two ramp utility trailer, and I signed an agreement with Westside Fire Department to take custody of that to use for their fire service and to help with us on emergency management stuff. So just that's kind of informal, just let you know. Other thing, guardian retention for Black Rock Road, I have a bill here, well not bill, I have a bid of $177,000 roughly to put the bags on Black Rock Road, so I just want to give you that as an informative thing. Right now, that's a whole lot of money. So, but anyway, we have that if we decide to go with that later on.
So what are we doing to look at other options in lieu of that? Because we committed to doing something.
I talked to Gino, son with the road department, he said that'd be the best interest to do with the bag. Also, the people we've had out there working, that would be the best interest to do the bags. That would probably hold better than anything we put in there. So that's, but we can look at a different type of thing if we want to, as jersey blocks or the bags and stuff like that, that this would be the best interest as a retention system out there with Carroll.
So will FEMA pay that back?
Well, it will be applied at FEMA. Now, it could be 2 years down the road before we get any money back from FEMA, but that will be applied with the FEMA stuff.
Okay. So a lot of our, road work we do now, we might as well get reimbursed on it.
They looked at, FEMA's gonna talk here in just a minute. And they looked at, Guardian looked at Jackson Springs, Jackson Ridge Hill, and they refused to even talk to us about that one. So they said they didn't even want part of that one, so anyway. So we might have to look at something different there.
So I guess from a budgeting perspective, if we do elect to go with Guardian, I mean, we probably won't get it done before the end of this budget year, right? So it would have to be something that would be in
Possibly
fiscal year 25 budget.
yes.
Just 6 weeks.
They want to make sure it's, from what I was talked to them about, they want to make sure the weather's, dry and everything, but no water down around, so.
And I got a copy of that quote.
Yeah.
Did you get a comment about that?
If we go ahead and get into the agreement with that, can we not say we need it done by June 30th? It can't take that long.
It depends there, I mean, if we can get them in here by June 30th, I don't know if we can get them in here by June 30th, that's the fact. I can call them, but I can go on and call them today or whatever and see if they can be here by June 30th.
I'm just trying to get the whole road out of this budget instead of carrying it.
At what point do they have to, what's the drop dead date for them actually issuing an invoice for that project?
Well, we'll have, I don't know what the last week is, but you can approve it and we can cut it that last day.
Okay, so essentially, again, we got 6 weeks to get this done, and if it doesn't, then
Let me, I'll check, touch base with them today and see what their time schedule is. I know they were pretty booked up on some other things in western Kentucky and stuff. They was,
I guess one thing too, if we do, look at this, but, are we including culverts and looking at the water, and all that kind of stuff as well, because that's the culprit in all of this. So we can talk about that.
Okay. Moving on, we have a representative from FEMA here today. It's Bruce Coleman. If you'd like to address the court here and tell us what's been going on. I know you're moving on, I understand, and you've been a big help here, and we introduced your sidekick there, it's going to take over. So, if you would like to talk.
Yeah, today is my last day coming back, but I am going to take a long needed vacation with my wife to Spain.
Oh.
So, I'll be thinking of you guys when I'm drinking sangria.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure working here. You guys are so friendly and really on the ball with everything that's been done. Sorry it took a while to get this designated for this county, but it is. The DRC is up and running, the registration center. As of yesterday, I think we had 108 registrations, which is great. We're always looking to push more out. Mike has been fantastic in terms of helping us out and pushing out information to the residents as to how to apply. As far as public assistance goes, guys, that's really, that's in the White House side. We can't really do anything about it. You know, there's different categories for the roads. There's an emergency where fire trucks can get through. That's a different category. A lot of the time, we'll mitigate it to make it better. But again, it all comes down to project by project, whether it's an emergency and fire trucks can't get through, culverts, things like that. It comes down to, if you do work, save your receipts. That's the biggest thing. But it's just been a joy, and I thank you all. Thanks, David, for inviting me here today. If you want to say a few words.
I just look forward to working with you all.
Yeah, thank Angela's great, and Mike, thank you again.
You're welcome.
We thank you for all you've done for the county and being involved here, meeting with us, and calling and letting us know what was going on and everything. So it's been a big plus to have you here. Thank you all here, so.
Thank you.
Whatever. A couple of things in my comments is one that FEMA has tried to go in some different places, but to meet with different groups and stuff in the city/county. If I understand this right, it's kind of their protocol to be invited into these organizations or these meetings or these gatherings. A couple of them had been denied that they couldn't go in and meet with the people or attend the festivals and or whatever was going on at that time. So they were denied not to be invited. They couldn't go in, so they didn't want them in there. So
They're lost.
it's their loss or whatever. I think that's a sorry thing to do, but that's just my opinion. Other thing, North American Standards will be at the Hope Center today about 1 p.m. and they are in preparation, or they are planning to make a donation to the Hope Center today at the high school. So they'll be there at 1 today. I'm planning on being there myself, but I've got another meeting pending at that time or during that time. Hopefully I can leave that early enough to be out there at 1. Hopefully. Pretty much all I got. One thing, the sheriff department, they gave us a bid for doing some work in their office. I just need to know if we want to take this out of the courthouse line or how we want to do it. It's about $33,000 total. So.
I think that ought to be incorporated into the budget for the sheriff's department, honestly.
For next term,
Yeah.
next budget.
It's right around the corner. So
Okay.
it's similar to what we've done at EOC and everything else for improvements and stuff. That'd be my recommendation, but
Got a motion on that, or you want to do it? Or just add it to the next budget? I say if the money's in the budget, we just do it.
Well, we can go ahead and do it now too, but I mean, I guess would that be a line item. or-
Well, just, I think the question was, we're gonna take it out of courthouse line, or we're gonna take it out of something else? What was the other one, Deb?
Are we gonna take it out of general, courthouse renewals and repair, or we're gonna make, move it around and pay it out of sheriff's lines?
I'll just take it out general, courthouse
Courthouse
renewals.
renewal.
Okay. All right.
Good, damn,
Is that gonna be something that's gonna be done by June 30th?
it's a question for the sheriffs.
It won't be complete by June 30th, the job will be.
That'll be in the next budget.
I mean, we're not paying, it's the
It's
same
not-
thing we did on here, we're paying part of it up front and then the remaining balance when they're completed. The
He'll
same
be,
crew that did this.
he'll be doing the back room, he would be doing and completing that before, June 30th.
So can he invoice us separate for the back room and the front room?
That's all.
That was just total, yeah.
So that way it's not split between two fiscal years.
So,
Just find out and let us know if it is.
you want it split?
No.
Don't.
We don't want to split it, that's just gonna complicate it, we don't need to do that.
If it was September, we could do something different, but I mean, we're right on the cusp of the new year, so.
This was paid out of this budget, transfer money. You agree with that? Okay. All right, moving on. Master.
You can't pay for something that's not complete.
Be done by the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah. All right, master comments. Doc? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Young man.
Couple things. First of all, kind of backing up to health insurance, I want to clarify because you all have done some things that are probably going to require ordinance and policy revisions. So are we running now, if I understood this correctly, a cost share for family and spouse and employee plus now? Because if that's the case, that's not in the policy. The policy says we provide full family plan except for spouses, which would have double coverage. So we will have to change the policy.
Yes, that has to be changed.
Okay, but you're adding back spouses with double coverage now.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, all right. There. Second thing is, Excelicom, the company that we decided to do internet with, they are currently not fulfilling their contract with us. The county judge has discussed this with me. Also, they have some internal issues, I believe, as to their affiliation with Kentucky Wire at this point in time. Asked for a motion, I guess, on the record for the county attorney to send notice of breach and to terminate the contract with Excelicom.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Thank you, Nick.
Last thing I have is J&N Electronics. They're the local company here in Nancy Martin who we have typically leased the tower space from, the land and the towers for our radio telecommunications system. It's come up an issue with the tower going down, some insurance issues. We've operated under an oral lease because that's what Joe always did. He was very informal. But I think insurance had some questions about the lease. So what I'm proposing is we adopt a resolution twofold. One, we memorialize the oral lease that we have had, basically put down in writing to show what we have been doing for this period of time. And then from this day forward, we would actually enter into a formal written rental agreement with Nancy and J&N Electronics to basically lease under the same terms that we have been. And Nancy put together a small, very basic lease. Looks very appropriate. We would change the date. Obviously, the written lease would be the May 13th, 2025 to the end of the county judge's term, which is January 31st, 2026, or I'm sorry, December 31st, 2026. And then from the beginning of his term is what we're saying we've been doing, January 1, 2023 through today would be the memorialization of the If you all feel so inclined, I can make a resolution.
I say read that resolution.
The only question I guess I have with this rental agreement, it's kind of what got us into the pickle was failure to maintain equipment. There was no integrity checks on towers, they're in real bad shape. Should there be something in here that has their responsibility to maintain?
But the tire we're putting up is gonna be ours now, we're not gonna be.
But yeah, we're not there yet, up until that point.
Yeah.
They've still got 2 tires up there, so they've still got gear on, well, we got gear on 3 tires. So that's my question. Because yeah, we'll eventually, hopefully, within 18 months, we're going to move it over to our own, but in the meantime.
I mean, if they have the responsibility to maintain the tower, then we need to put in the lease agreement that
I assume they do.
their responsibility. If it's our tower, then it's our responsibility.
You shouldn't even have to think it's her tower. It's J&M's tower.
Yeah.
There has to be some type of maintenance.
I think that is provision before the judge sent it.
Yeah, for a basic inspection. And that's not just the tower, but it's, I guess, the hardware as well, AC and little room.
Tower.
Backup power supply.
Tower and equipment.
Yeah, everything's.
Make sure it stays in operation.
So I guess with that modification, we still have the resolution of this would still go into
Yes.
effect, right? And so I'll make a motion to read the resolution.
I'll second it.
Motion by Scott, second by Clay, all in favor say aye. Opposed?
Wherefore the Carroll County Fiscal Court resolves as follows: Carroll County Judge Executive may execute a memorandum of oral lease agreement with J&M Electronics for the lease of radio and telecommunications towers and the property adjacent thereto in Carroll County, Kentucky, on behalf of the Carroll County Fiscal Court for the period beginning January 1, 2023 through May 13, 2025. Paragraph 2, the Carroll County Judge Executive may execute a written lease agreement with J&M Electronics for the lease of radio and telecommunications towers and the property adjacent thereto in Carroll County, Kentucky, on behalf of the Carroll County Fiscal Court for the period beginning May 13, 2025, ending December 31st, 2026. The Carroll County Judge Executive needs to carry out the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement on behalf of the Carroll County Fiscal Court.
Motion to adopt that resolution.
I'll second it.
Scott, second by Clay, Val, all in favor say aye. Opposed? That's all we got Nick, today. Okay, now we're at commissioner's comments, we'll start with Benzie.
Well, yeah, I was just, I know there's been a lot going on through the road closure, but just gonna kind of have to get an update on Painter and Rice Ridge and other areas in my area for the flood damage, kind of.
I know the road department has looked at a lot of that, and we've got some plans to do it. We have a problem out on Tuttle Lane that was supposed to be worked on yesterday.
Thursday, you're gonna get it now.
So that's gonna be taken care of. Black Rock is open, just, you know, everybody know that Black Rock is open and travelable now, and then they'll be looking at those areas down there.
Yeah, just some bad spots where the water course got right, so that's why I was concerned about. Just other than, I know we had lost the road three, so just asking. Appreciate it.
Okay. That it?
Yeah. Also, I was gonna ask about the budget as well too, just maybe get a feel on, you know, maybe some dates we can sit down and, or maybe have a work session or something, with all us there to go over before we gotta kind of get on the ball up for June 1st or something like that, so it's kind of one of my questions.
Same one for me, Benzie.
You want to set up a work session, Debbie, what day you want to?
All of it down there. Scott and I are reading this out.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, we just need to.
I know we individually will, but you know, I figured maybe a final touch one day or something like
I
that.
think that'd be the most efficient.
Yeah, just, and I'm not gonna be just for the 15th through to the 19th, I won't be available, so
Yeah.
this week, or Thursday until Monday, so I'll be out of town.
I mean, because preferably, I guess we'd like to do first reading next meeting, so.
True.
Yes,
That's
yes,
for sure.
please.
Okay.
And also, I just wanted to add a comment too, got some questions as far as the school board and all that stuff, with the schools getting on with they're looking with the tax proposal and all that stuff. So just to clear the air here, we did a 5-year plan with the county, and we included the school board and other entities of the county. And this was a comprehensive plan. SEDS kind of helps us with grant money and doing other things and projects. So we try to involve everybody in this program. In the school part of that it says something along the lines of we was going to add the school said universal pre-K for private and public schools. Now, what was not in there was a tax increase. This fiscal court, does not control the school tax. That is what you elect your school board members or the school board to do, and fiscal court has no control of that. And that's all I have to say, Judge.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah, just, go back to what Ben said. I've been asked several times about this school tax too, this 10 for 10 program that they have. And they need to know that the fiscal court does not, cannot, and will not impose any tax that has to do with school systems. We cannot legally do that, we wouldn't do that. Which a lot of people think that we're involved in that because of that 5-year plan that they put out, which we agreed to, but not with the taxing part of it. So just to make sure that people understand we don't have any taxing authority in the school, we're not going to do that at all. So the other thing I have to say is through the county cleanup, my efforts out to the jail, to the road department, and for everybody that's involved. Thank you for your efforts. It was quite an undertaking. It seems to be that evidently we've got more tires in this county than they've got in the United States. I've never seen so many tires in my entire life. So where did it come from? So I don't know if we've got trees growing on the ground. We sure got a problem, that's for sure. But anyway, the efforts they put out was great, and I do appreciate that very much. So, thank you. FEMA, appreciate you all too for what you've done. I know you've been around because people have talked to me that they've talked to you and seen you, so, and I do appreciate that. That goes a long way. That helps us.
Just a footnote on Clay, the thing with FEMA too, and I really appreciate this, that they were identified as FEMA. They all had their tags on, they had a FEMA vest or something on, so we knew, if they didn't have that, then we got a call on somebody. That's just a question I got on one call one night, and I said, did they have their ID with them? And they said, no, there was nothing. I said, you don't need to talk to them. I said, tell them to go on. They're not in. So that's one plus. Yeah, they were identified well plus in the county.
Some people in the county may not appreciate what you do, but you do. Okay. And I know what an effort it is to go out there and do that. I was a whole part of the flood as long as Ben and a few others that were still here that and was on the front lines of it. Mike, it was quite an undertaking. And, it will be an undertaking for you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, David was kind enough to give me the responder Bible that you guys have. And your day was all.
Well, we appreciate your efforts. I think things went as well as we could expect of what was told upon us at the time. We made mistakes, sure, but we got through it. We worked everything out, things got done.
Well, I heard the judge executive was away.
He was out cruising around.
That's when the water was at.
He was dealing with water just better.
I don't think I wasn't sitting back thinking about all this too, so, and whatever, so. It's kind of a different thing than not having, doing certain things with phones and whatever. Okay, Scott?
Yeah, a lot of the things have been mentioned and stuff, and kudos, I know the community cleanups, I know the one that Jen that day was an absolute downpour throughout. There's a lot of stuff still got picked up, and I appreciate all of their efforts. Black Rock, again, hats off to the road department, they went in there and got that cleaned up, and it looks good for now again, so I just appreciate efforts towards a permanent fix, and again, hope we can just learn how to deal with these I still don't think we know. I've heard lots of opinions why it failed, and nobody really knows. It's unfortunate we didn't have somebody qualified in. I mean, that's truly qualified in that trade to help us out. 'Cause we combined, I bet we have in District 3 probably 3 miles of similar type stuff collectively, spot here, spot there, all that type of stuff. So this is not a minor issue. When we talk about $177,000 to fix less than 200 feet, you do the math. Pretty scary stuff. But we got to figure out something. Yeah, just to echo the guys' comments on the budget plans. Yeah, we just really, there's lots of questions. And Debbie's been really good about answering a lot of my clumsy questions. And we're going to meet this afternoon for a while. But there's a lot of stuff that just need to understand because the proposed number right now is pretty high.
Well,
Yeah. So other than that, if we can get together and get a date on the books, and I guess Benji, you said you're back in.
okay. I got it marked here, if we could do the meeting on May the 20th. That's on a Tuesday, a week from today. That'd be before the next.
So we're gonna have a work session before, or we're gonna do first reading that day?
I'd say do the work session that day, and if they got any questions, they need to talk to you this week sometime or another. You can go over like the rest of them, and then the 20th, we can sit down and have a work session on it. 21st, that'd be 27th, we can do it.
27.
Be the first reading. That work?
And then I'm out on June 10th, that means I'm going to that retail academy, so I don't know if we can do a special meeting in there to do the second reading or.
No, we won't be back in time.
Oh, it won't be back by then.
No.
That's what I'm saying, it's usually gone about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll
And then
probably,
we have second reading. So it's reason,
Okay.
there's time.
So it'll likely be after the first meeting and somewhere in the. Okay. All right. That's all.
okay.
I've got one more thing to mention. Benji, I'm sorry. Benji brought up about the school board tax and everything, and that's, as Benji said, that's completely on the school board. Another thing I wanted to address, though, is it's my understanding that there are certain groups that this tax, if passed by the Board of Education, is subject to a recall petition and a recall election. The county clerk has certain responsibilities with those petitions and approving those and making sure everything is in proper order. So this is out there for if there is a petition group that is going to petition for a recalled election on this tax that is being proposed. They have to make sure they understand exactly what the law is. The county clerk sits in a unique and almost a judicial capacity that she has to approve or deny those petitions, and she has to be impartial in her duties. I have to be impartial as well because I advise the county clerk. So if those parties need advice on how to read the statute, advice on how to fill out the petition, etc., that is not within the bailiwick of the county clerk, nor is it within my responsibilities, nor can we ethically do that. We can't take a side. So we have to sit in the middle. So if those parties are going to fill out those petitions and file those, they have to make sure that they are in accordance with Kentucky law. I would suggest that they seek legal counsel of some sort to review that process with them to make sure they do that, because that is not something the county clerk nor her deputies nor myself can give them advice on. We have to take the petitions as they're submitted and make sure they're in accordance with Kentucky law. So just putting that out there, because those are all very time-sensitive measures that have to be taken, so they have to make sure they're done right.
Okay. A couple of things, we got some letters that came from the thank yous and letters that came from the Hope Center to the fiscal court. Also, we got a thank you card from the social workers that was here last week or 2 weeks ago. Nick, so if y'all want to review them here, but I need a motion to go in executive session.
For purpose?
For property.
Acquisition.
Yeah, property acquisition.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Scott, second by Clay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion come out of executive session by Scott, on Clay, second by Scott, all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Minutes reflecting the lights still taken by the court.
I need a motion on the budget transfer that we have.
I'll make it 30 seconds.
Yeah.
No, it's that we are,
The one thing that was in the transfers, vendor claims was, lots of stuff from the hospital. So we've got to get it going on that, so we get a chance to talk to Dan. We're going to have to check this and stuff.
We need some of this line.
And I know we
You'll have to change.
yeah, so, all right, I'm good to make the motion, or did you make a motion?
Motion by Clay, second by Scott, all in favor, say aye. Opposed?
no problem. We're ready to
Make a motion to adjourn, is there a motion?
Second.